Are you stuck on some late game quest, can't find that one item you really need, or are you just tired of paying millions of rubles for rare keys and keycards in Tarkov? Then you're probably sleeping on one of the most powerful and misunderstood hideout features in the entire game, the Cultist Circle. Hey guys, I'm Ghost and welcome back to Tarkov University. In this video, we're going to fully break down the Cultist Circle. We're going to cover why it's insanely important, how to unlock it, some cool lore behind it, and most importantly, what to sacrifice to get the coveted 6-hour and 14-hour timers, which are where the real value is. If you're trying to progress faster, complete some annoying quests where you need to get rare items with the found in raid status, or gamble for extremely expensive items like labs keycards, this is something you need to understand. Let's get into it. First, what is the Cultist Circle? The Cultist Circle is a mid to late game hideout module that allows you to sacrifice items in exchange for a delayed reward. Once the timer finishes, you're going to receive items based on the total value that you sacrificed, the type of items you sacrificed, and the timer tier you hit. This module is not for crafting, it's not bartering, it is a high risk, high reward ritual system. And yes, it can give you rare quest items, high tier hideout items, expensive keys, and even labs keycards like black, red, and green. This thing is incredibly important for 3 reasons. The number one reason is quest progression. The Cultist Circle can roll items that are notoriously painful to find, especially late wipe when spawns are contested. For example, I used my Cultist Circle this wipe to find 4 military costumes for the network provider quest line that leads you to Lightkeeper. At the same time I was hoping the Cultist Circle would reward me with costumes, it gave me a found in raid Sturman key that I needed to complete that Jaeger quest. The number 2 reason is the Cultist Circle is an economy bypass. By using the Cultist Circle, you are essentially converting items you don't need into items that you do. For example, if you put in 400,000 rubles worth of goods into the Cultist Circle, you could get back 1.5 million rubles worth of labs access keycards. And number 3 is passive gambling value. Once the Cultist Circle is unlocked, you can feed it consistently in the background while you're raiding. Think of it kind of like the scav case, but darker, weirder, and sometimes way more rewarding. Let's take a quick lore break because this thing is kind of cool. I also think it's interesting if you think about what's really happening in the background when you're using the Cultist Circle. Cultists in Tarkov are part of a shadowy, religious faction that worships decay, sacrifice, and purification through suffering. The Cultist Circle in your hideout is essentially you appeasing them. You're not crafting, you're not trading, you're making offerings and hoping they're pleased. That's also why rewards can feel generous one time and then absolutely cursed the next time. Okay, now let's discuss how to unlock the Cultist Circle. To unlock this thing, you're going to need level 1 security and 1 Wi-Fi camera. In addition to those, you'll also need to have all of the following items with the found in raid status. 1 paid anti-roach spray, 5 light bulbs, 3 cans of white salt, 1 survivor lighter, and 1 construction measuring tape. This is not an early wipe feature since some of these items are going to be a bit tricky to find, but once you unlock it, it stays relevant all throughout the endgame. If you're already pushing Kappa or finishing high tier quests, you should absolutely have this unlocked to help you retrieve those pesky streamer items. Now here's where most players mess this up. The Cultist Circle has multiple timer tiers, but first we're going to focus on the 2 that matter the most for consistency and value. That is going to be the 6-hour timer and the 14-hour timer. Now longer and shorter timers exist, but these 2 are what you should aim for. So to get them, if you sacrifice items with a total value of 350,001 rubles or more, you will get the 14-hour timer guaranteed. However, if your sacrifice is a total of 400,000 rubles or more, you receive a 25% chance to get the 6-hour timer. Now, if you ever see that 6-hour timer, it means you are now guaranteed to either get a quest item or a hideout item as the reward. Every time I got one of those costumes I spoke about, I had received the 6-hour timer after I hit sacrifice. The first method I used to unlock these timers was sacrificing 1 grenade case, which you can buy on the flea market for approximately 320k rubles. The second way to unlock this timer was by bartering a labs keycard with Peacekeeper level 3 for a G28 and then just putting that weapon in as the sacrifice. As of the making of this video, a labs keycard can be purchased from therapists for about 166,000 rubles or from the flea market for approximately 130. Here are a few other honorable mention sacrifice recipes that can give you guaranteed results. 1 Mastachin figurine will reward you with 1 Voron's hideout key, 1 note with the code word Voron, and 1 Raven. 1 Sten military battery will reward you with an old house toilet key, which is a room that has a 100% chance to spawn a military battery. 1 TIG splint will give you a golden egg. 1 Mazzoni golden dumbbell will give you 1 found in raid Mazzoni golden dumbbell. This is very handy since this is a heavy item if you try to carry it out of a raid. 1 Killa figurine will give you a Killa helmet and face shield. A Tagilla figurine will give you a Tagilla face shield. A Rashala figurine will give you his golden TT pistol. 1 Den figurine will either give you a Deadly Slops beard oil or Baddie's red beard. And 1 Ledix will give you 1 Tear Group blue folders materials. If you're looking for a complete list of every single recipe available, I recommend you take a look at the website cultistcircle.com/recipes. This seems to be a fan-made website that stays up to date with relevant information. And just for the record, I am not partnered with or associated with them in any way, but you're free to use that as a resource, the same as the Tarkov wiki. Now there is one thing that I really want to clear up before we move on because this trips a lot of people up. The Cultist Circle is not just another scav case in Tarkov. With the scav case, you are paying rubles and rolling into predefined loot pools, and your turnaround time is directly impacted by your reputation with Fence. So if you've been a good scav and haven't been taking down other scavs as a scav, then your improved reputation with Fence will lead to a lower return time. But regardless of the boost from having a higher reputation with Fence, you are still rolling into those predefined loot pools. You will never receive a specific item you need as a result of an entry into the scav case. Whereas if you hit that 6-hour timer from a 400,000 ruble or more sacrifice with the Cultist Circle, you are guaranteed to receive an item you need for a quest or a hideout upgrade. Now quickly, in regards to the scav case, an entry of 2,500 rubles will give you a turnaround time of approximately 41 minutes with a return of 1 to 3 items. An entry of 15,000 rubles will give you a 2-hour and 8-minute timer with a guaranteed return of 2 to 4 items. An entry of 95,000 rubles will give you a turnaround time of 2 hours and 15 minutes with a return of 2 to 5 items. And now my favorite 2 entries to use. An entry of 1 bottle of Fierce Hatchling Moonshine will give you a 4-hour and 40-minute turnaround timer with a return of 4 to 6 items. And an entry of 1 intelligence folder will provide a return of 4 to 7 items within 5 hours and 20 minutes. Now with the Cultist Circle, you are not rolling into that predefined loot pool. You are influencing the pool directly through the sacrifice value that you make, with the one goal of having that sacrifice value be of 400,000 rubles or more. And remember that even when you hit that target, your returns can be wildly different from one to the next. Again, the primary benefit of the Cultist Circle is that if the 25% chance triggers, then you are guaranteed to get that quest or hideout item the game knows you need. In my opinion, this makes the Cultist Circle just so much better than the scav case. Although the scav case is really fun to use because of how random it is, I've just never seen it be as valuable as that Cultist Circle. Speaking of the scav case real quick, I know it's totally anecdotal and RNG, but let me know in the comments down below what entry you think is the best and what's provided you the most returns. Now there is one item in Tarkov that's very special and relevant for the Cultist Circle, and that is the Sacred Amulet. This is an item that can only be purchased from Lightkeeper after completing his task called Snatch. The Sacred Amulet essentially serves 2 purposes. The first is that if you wear it during a raid, cultists will not attack you unless they're provoked. And the second use is that the amulet can be used to increase the value of sacrificed items in the hideout Cultist Circle. In my opinion, this is not really an important item in the game right now. As I just showed you, you can hit that 400,000 ruble threshold without sacrificing anything close to 400,000 rubles. The lab's keycard was around 130k, and the grenade case is around 320k. Now I'd like to leave you with a few quick warnings to help manage your expectations. The Cultist Circle system will occasionally bless you and occasionally troll you. That's totally fine and totally normal. The goal of the Cultist Circle is consistent value over time, not hitting the jackpot every single run. In my experience, it took a few days for me to finally get that 6-hour timer through the grenade case sacrifice, but once I finally got it, I actually got it 3 times in a row. Just keep rolling the dice and it's bound to pay off. And that is your complete guide for the Cultist Circle, which is one of the most overlooked progression tools in Escape from Tarkov 1.0. If this guide helped you out, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Tarkov content. If you want to support the channel even more, consider clicking the join button and becoming a member, or heading over to our brand new merch store and picking up some cool gear. Let me know in the comments if there's a specific guide you'd like me to do next. If you have any more questions or want to find squad mates to run raids with, feel free to join our Discord, the link is in the description. As always, thanks for watching guys, I'm Ghost, and I'll see you in the next raid.